Good evening, everyone. Myself Praksha Senaik from Panchajanya Organization, currently in fourth year in Sharada Ayurveda Medical College, Mangalore. Panchajanya, the divine conch of Bhagwan Sri Krishna, which was blown during Kurukshetra, indicating the start of the Dharma Yuddha that followed. Where all the efforts were done for the establishment of Dharma. Dharma was kept over personal relations and motives. Keeping the same motive in mind, our organization will work towards establishing the importance and necessity of following and imbibing Bharatiya culture. Accepting our roots and making people realize the true essence of Ayurveda, not only as a treatment modality, but also as a way of life. All this while walking in the path of Dharma, hence the motto Shreyam Bharatiyam Arogyam Ayurvediyam. The founders of this organization started this because we felt the need to spread the knowledge of Bharatiya culture, Ayurveda, the true history of Bharata Rashtra, and values to all strata of people in every corner of the world. Also, the founders, being Ayurveda aspirants, know the inside out of today's medical space. Hence, they aim to make people aware of this and also try their best to solve this on the go. With this aim in mind, I would like to welcome you to Pragnavaridhi lecture series conducted for first year students. Today we have Vaidya Bhosgikar Anup sir. He is currently working at NK Shetty Ayurvedic Medical College and PG Center, Bidar. Sir has completed his UG and PG from NK Shetty Ayurvedic Medical College, Bidar. He is currently pursuing his PhD from RGHS currently. He has a teaching experience of 16 years for both UG as well as PG. He has published more than 30 articles in various peer-reviewed and international journals. He has presented various papers in national and international seminars. He has authored a book on Shareera. Sir will be taking the topic on endocrine glands. We welcome you, sir. Handing
Thank
over
you.
the session to you, sir.
Thank you for the introduction, introducing me to the Panchajanya, and I would like to congratulate the team of Panchajanya who are organizing such a wonderful series of guest lecture, particularly for the first year students, because sometimes at the end of the examination they need some clarification, and for that one, whatever efforts you are doing, it's really appreciable, and wholeheartedly I'm congratulations. I'm also thankful for inviting me in this guest series, and I will give my best to the students with this presentation. Okay, may I start for this one? So, a topic allotted for me is the endocrine system. So, actually, endocrine system itself is the biggest topic, and before starting to the endocrine system, basically we have to go what is in my endocrine system. The pictorials in my first slide itself or introductory slide itself, showing you the different anatomical structures where we're getting the different glands, names of the glands, for example, adrenal, pituitary, parathyroid, stomach, liver, pancreas, thymus, and all those things. So basically these are coming under the heading of the glands, and we came to that know that one these are the endocrine glands. For basic that one, what first we should know about the what is the endocrine system. So the complete endocrine system is a group of the glands. Basically, how we can say the tissues and the cells. Tissues are nothing but a group of the cells like that. The endocrine system is completely made up of the. It is nothing but a group of the glands and the hormones. Whatever they are going to secrete, the complete that system we can come or we can study all these things under the heading of the endocrine system. So among the endocrine in this system, all the glands are able to produce the primary hormones, and they are helping for the to perform our normal physiological activities in our day routine life, and also they are also essential to have for the proper growth, proper their development, and what we can say proper nourishment to our human body. So such the group of the glands we can call it as the endocrine system. So, as they are secreting the hormones, the brain and our vital organs, for example, like brain, heart, lungs, liver, skin, thymus. We can take the gastrointestinal mucosa and placenta. At some extent, also produce the hormones, or we can call the chemical transmitters. What we can say in the chemical language. Okay, why? Because why I have why I took the complete brain, because in the brain we have the particular glands like pituitary gland is there, hypothalamus is there, or we can say the example of the pineal gland. So such glands are there situated in the located in the brain itself. So grossly, if we have taken the brain itself is our gland, because it is to be controlling all our human body in the form of the nervous system and in the form of the to perform the normal physiology. Simultaneously, I was took the name of the heart, because nearer to that we'll get the thyroids, parathyroid, and some extent heart also responsible for the secretion of the certain hormones which are very essential for the pumping of the blood, for the circulation of the blood, and to have the proper nourishment. So you can know about the liver also, you know about the skin, you can know about the thymus, and also here I was one more word I was used, that is the gastrointestinal mucosa. Why I was used the name of the gastrointestinal mucosa under the heading of the endocrine system? Why? Because in our complete GI tract, starting from your oral cavity to the anus, or we can say the rectum, all the intestinal or the mucosa which is located from there. For example, in oral cavity, we have the so this one, what we can say that salivary glands are located. When we enter into the stomach, there is a the stomach will secrete the certain hormones. For example, it will secrete certain secretions like hydrochloric acid is there, pepsin is there, renin is there. Going on to the next to the small intestine, large intestine, these hormones are these chemical secretions are nothing but the chemical transmitters which are helping our body to perform its own functions. Next, I have written here name as the placenta. Everybody knows when you are discussed yesterday, the guest lecture was took by the Anju Thomas madam on the beautiful topic named as the embryology. She might have been told about the role of the placenta as the endocrine glands, because up to the certain extent, placenta is also took as the endocrine gland, which help for the secretion of the what we can say the female hormones. Those are nothing but the what we can say the hormones which are helping for to maintain the pregnancy. That is human chorionic gonadotrophin hormone is there, and estrogen is there, progesterone are there is there. So such also hormones are secreted by the placenta, which are not only helping for the maintenance of the pregnancy at all, certain hormones also help responsible for the proper growth and the nourishment of the embryo which is developing into the mother's womb. So all these this group of the glands we are studying under the heading of the endocrine system. So these glands are secreting one particular secretion that we have called as the hormone. Then what is the hormone here? So hormone are nothing but the chemical transmitters which are helping for the just for example, in the CNS we have the proper neurons and the synapse, isn't it? Why neurons or synapse are essential for the in the nervous system, or we have called that those as the uh, what neurons are to be called the functional unit of the central nervous system. Why you have called that one? Because whatever the perceptions have been perceived by our human body, that has to be transmitted through these neurons to the neuron, then to the synapse, and the cycle is or chain is made up. Chain has been made up of there. That is neuron to neuron, acetylcholine, then again synapse, and chain is too long, and it will lastly transmitting to the particular functional area of the cerebral cortex. In a similar way, the acetylcholine, which is the chemical substance that will act like a transmitter, means whatever the perception has to be took out by our body, that is to be transferred to that acetylcholine. Similar way, here the hormone is also act as the chemical transmitter when it is released in a small amount from the glands. It will not release in the biggest amount from the glands or the cells which are located in the glands, and that directly transported into the bloodstream. Because again here the question will arise, I'm saying that directly transmitted into the bloodstream, because some glands are endocrine glands and some glands are the exocrine glands. So in the endocrine glands, they will transmit their secretion directly into the bloodstream, whereas the exocrine glands, we have the duct, and they have the ducts, and they will transfer their secretion through the duct. That will deal later on. But just in this slide, whatever I want to explain that is related to the hormone itself. So later on, that will directly going from the bloodstream. It will entering onto the target, either on the target organs or the particular cell where they have to perform its own functions. Like that, hormones are acts like a chemical transmitters. Along with that, there are also the chemical messengers. Just I was took the example for the neurons. What they those are acting like a those are nothing but the messengers from the respective organ to the particular functional area which is located in their cerebral cortex. In a similar way, the hormones are also like the chemical messengers. Means one hormone is secreted from the particular gland that will enter into the particular bloodstream and directly it will act on that particular cell where that has to perform its own functions. For example, here we'll take the example of the female reproductive hormones, just like the estrogen and the progesterone. These hormones are very essential for regularization of the menstrual cycle. Means every 28 days, automatically the level of the progesterone and estrogen will up and downs. Means one hormone will increase, one automatically will decrease. And by that, what will happen? The physiological change in the female reproductive organs will be there, and ovum will release from the ovum has been released from the ovarian cycle will regulates. Means that particular estrogen and the progesterone hormone secreted by the either by the pituitary or the other or particular gland that will act that will go that will goes on into the what we said ovary, and that initiate that ovary to release the ovum in the every cycle. So like that they are acting like the chemical messengers, and also they are like to be transferring the informations and instructions from one set of the cell to the another set of the cell. Say instructions and the messengers are transferring the information. Certain hormones are there, we can call them inhibitory hormones. What is by inhibition? They are releasing from one place and they are making to the other cells to get to perform its own function. Understood? So by that they are able to transfer their information from that particular by that hormone to that particular cell, or we can say that they are transferring that particular instruction to that particular organ to perform its own functions. Like that, for example, you can take the example related to their stomach or the secretion secreted by the gastrointestinal mucosa, which is located in the like in the form of the pepsin, renin. This because of the excessive secretion when we feel the hunger, when this hormone this secretion level has been increased, means they will transfer the information to the brain. Yes, now you are going to feel the hunger. So like that, this will act like a messengers. These are act like a transforming the information, or also they are also transforming the instructions from one place, one set of cell to the another set of cell. So such a chemical substance which is secreted by our glands, we can call it as the hormones. So next, what we are going to study in this particular today's topic. So in this topic, I am going to tell in brief, because every gland is unable to complete in one guest lecture. I'm going in brief about this type of the glands. So endocrine glands, first we'll see the what is meant by endocrine glands. What are the different endocrine glands are located in your body? That is starting from the hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, pancreas, liver, heart, kidney, adrenal, prostaglandins, ovary, testis, placenta. Among these different whatever anatomical structures I was stated in this slide, among these ones some are the endocrine, some are the exocrine, and or some will act like a both endocrine and the exocrine ones. Along with that one also we are going to deal about the exocrine glands. We can take the example of the all these parotid, submandibular, sublingual, and these glands are to be called as the what we can say the glands located in your oral cavity. Okay, and sweat gland which is located in your skin, sebaceous gland, skin gland, again the pyloric gland. So these are the type of the examples of the some of the exocrine glands. So what first will I am going to deal with you what is the endocrine system or what is the endocrinology. Commonly we have this term endocrinologist. Nowadays these are very common terms. For example, any endocrine disorders or any hormone related disorders we are consulting the endocrinologist. So what is this endocrinology? Endocrines. So the word comprises of the endocrinology. In this completed term, we will divide the three: endo, crino, and the logy. What is it by endo? It is within. Crino means secret, and logy means the study. Means the study, which the biological study, which will deals with the secretion of the particular glands or the particular structures which are secreted, which are present within our body. That complete study is we can call it as the endocrinology. Once again, I'm revising it. The study in which we are going to studying the particular biological study we can say, or the biological study where we are studying the secretion secreted by the glands which are located within our body. That complete subject we can call it is the endocrinology. In this picture, I'm showing you the certain examples of the endocrine glands. That is hypothalamus, pineal gland is there, pituitary gland is there, thyroid gland is there, thymus, pancreas, adrenals or suprarenals, testis in the particular in the males and ovaries in the females. So what is the, this comprises of the endocrine system. So what is the endocrine system there? Endocrine system consists of the glands which are widely spreaded from each other within no physical connections. We don't have the physically, they are not interlinked with each other. For example, you can take the pituitary located in your cerebrum or cerebral cortex, thyroid located in your neck region, thymus below to that one, pancreas again coming into the anterior abdomen, at suprarenals coming into the posterior abdominal, testis are nothing but the or gonads in the male reproductive organ, in we can say the externally, whereas the ovaries are again pelvic region. Means these glands are not at all physically connected with each other. What is the physical connection? For example, in the abdomen, we have seen the relations of the different organs. Means stomach is connected physically with the what we can say small stomach is stomach is connected in with in the particular at the greater curvature with the liver, at the lesser curvature with particular organ, it is connected with the large intestine. Means these are physically interconnected organs which are located in your abdominal cavity, and such a relation we don't find in the endocrine system or endocrine glands. But even though they are not interlinked with each other physically, but they are connected with each other with their own secretions. So by that the this endocrine system will works. The endocrine system performs the same general functions just like a nervous system. So that's why I was took the example in my first slide with the neurons, synapse and acetylcholine, how they are passing the message from the particular our perceived organs to the cerebral cortex. Like that, the endocrine glands, they are also passing their message or the perform chemical substances are transferring their information from the particular area, for example pituitary area to the particular area related to your abdomen, particular area to your reproductive organs. Like that, they are connected with each other and they are performing their correct functions like a nervous system. So that's why we can say the endocrine system function is closely related with the functions related to the nervous system also. How it will be there? The nervous system provides a more rapid response than the endocrine system. That already we have known. Everybody can know about the what we can say the nervous system response. For example, just a small routine example I will give for you about the rapid response, by how rapid response is present in the nervous system. Just a small mosquito is sitting on your left hand. So automatically that mosquito is biting on your skin. Then what the skin will do, that cerebral cortex, automatically what will happen, cerebral cortex will send to the message to your right hand, automatically will raise your hand, we want to kill that mosquito or slapping on that mosquito. Means the within a friction of second this complete cycle will complete, that from left hand mosquito biting, that will sending to the cerebral cortex send your message to the right hand, and right hand will raise and automatically it will kill that mosquito within the friction of second. All these things are going on. So that's how we can say the nervous system perform within a friction of second the function. But like that, the endocrine system unable to perform such within a fraction of second, because it have the particular cells own secretion. That secretion has to enter into their bloodstream. That bloodstream again goes to the particular area or particular cell or particular recipient, a particular cell which will receive that particular hormone, and there it will act. Means it will takes a particular more the time than that of a nervous picture where I'm moving my cursor. So you can observe on the slide, this is the endocrine cell which is secreting the hormone. Okay, this is releasing the hormone, and this hormone entered into the pipeline structure. We can say the bloodstream. This will circulate into the blood capillaries. From the blood capillaries, it will enter. It will captured by the receptor or the particular cell which are able to perform that particular cell. We can say the target cells which are located away from or distant from the that particular endocrine gland, and there that hormone has been received by that particular cell, and there it will perform its function. So that's why this also required nerve cells, what we can say Nerve signals are sent via the electrical impulses, while the endocrine system communicates via circulating the hormone. This is the difference between the nervous system functioning and the endocrine system functioning, where the nerve signals are sent by the electrical impulsion. Where what impulses, what will act there? The neurons, the acetylcholine's, they will act like electrical impulses. Where here, this bloodstream will act like a media for the transforming the hormone from the what we can say entry from the place where it will going to secrete, and the end or the action area where the hormone receptor or the particular this target cell is located. So even though they are located far away, here the communicating area is nothing but your bloodstream. So like that, the hormones or endocrine system will work in your body. So, what is the endocrine gland? So, I think you might have been understood related to the definition of the hormones, what is the endocrine system, how it will perform its function. Now, we will go in detail about to discuss in brief, not in detail about the individual glands. So, this is about the what I have repeated previously only the endocrine system. What is the endocrine? These are ductless gland, as already we have studied. That is the endocrine means they are secreting their secretion directly into the bloodstream. That's why they don't have any type of the ducts here once again, and they are secreting their secretion directly into the bloodstream. Here in this picture we can see very easily. So these are the endocrine cells, and at the center red picture will saying that the blood flow. So endocrine cells will directly secreting their secretion entering into the bloodstream. The arrow mark on this picture we can see named as the hormone. There it will entering, and these are transforming with the blood vessels to the particular target cells. And the endocrine glands secrete the hormone into the intercellular spaces. One question again, once one will arise, where the secretion will comes here. So the secretion directly coming into the intercellular spaces. I think there is no need to tell me what is the intercellular spaces, which are nothing but the space in between the two cells. So their secretion directly enter into that intercellular spaces. From that intercellular spaces, that will enter into the bloodstream, and that hormone can diffuse into the blood and it be carried out throughout the body. I think everybody has known about the capillary mechanism and the capillary circulation. The capillaries are located in between the intercellulars at the end of the venules and the arterioles. There are the intercellular space, and they are making the mesh-like network-like structure. Automatically, they are working on the process known as the osmosis. That is from higher concentration movement of that particular area from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Similar way here, the hormones are again coming in contact with the intercellular spaces, and automatically that hormone will diffuse into the blood, and it will carry out through that blood vessels throughout the body, and direct and lastly into the target cell to perform its own function. So this is the functioning of the endocrine glands and the endocrine. What is meant by endocrine? So again, hormone may be blind to the cell that have the hormone specific receptors on their surface. Actually, hormones are they may be binded to the cells that have to be hormone specific. As I was told you in the previous slide itself, here I was told you the receptor cells are there where I'm moving the cursor. So these are the hormone receptors, mean this particular cell which are receiving that particular hormone. Those are called as the hormone receptors. So here these hormones have to be binded to the particular cells which are nothing but the receptors. Where they want to go, they are binded with that particular cell. For example, here we can say we have seen their endocrine cell. This is the largest, you can see the endocrine cell, and this is the where I'm moving the cursor. This is the target cell, and this is the non-targeting cell. Actually, what will happen? And this is the endocrine cell. What will happen? It will secrete its hormone, and it will enter into the bloodstream, and it will going to the it will move all over the body, but it has to perform its own function on a particular target cell. Okay, what are the target cells? The cells are known as the target cell. The binding of the hormone with the receptor of the hormone with the receptor initiates a chemical reactions where they want to perform its own function. Those particular cells are to be called as the target cells. So the hormone will secrete, and they are binded with the receptors or the particular target cell receptors, and they only will work on the target cell. And here the another cell where I'm moving the cursor, this is not a target cell. So this non-targeted cell don't have the hormone receptors. So even though the hormone is coming in contact with this non-targeted cell, they will not act on this non-targeted cell because their target is not this one. There's a target, the hormone target is not this particular cell. They only target to their own targeting cells, and which cells, those cells only have the receptors. Matlab, that particular target cell will have the receptor to receive their own signals, and by that they will take that particular hormone, they will to perform its own function. But at the same time, the non-targeted cell don't have such type of the receptors, and that's why the hormone will not work on that particular non-targeted cell. So that's why we can say hormone play an important role in the homeostasis and the metabolism of the normal human to perform normal human physiological function. So this is the how the hormones will act on the target cell. I think it is very easy to understand now. So like this, they will act like a they will acting on the targeted cell. So based on that one, disease may cause to the gland by their own secretion. Like that, we have already come to know about the hyposecretion and the hypersecretion. If they will secrete more amount of quantity, then the disease will because occurs due to the hypersecretion. And if the hormone level has been decreased below the normal level, if the disease persists to be due to the hyposecretion of that particular hormone. So this type of the disorders may come across into the hormonal disorder, that is due to either by the hypersecretion of that hormone or due to the hyposecretion of that respective hormone. So first endocrine gland, whatever we are going to discuss here is the hypothalamus. Everyone know about the cerebrum. This is the combination diagram what we when we study the cerebrum or the brain. It's a complete picture of the brain. Here we can see. So largest is the cerebral cord, cerebrum. This is the related to the limbic system, and here we have the hypothalamus, which is closely related with the limbic system. It is closely related with the limbic system, and this is the brainstem. We have the pons, medulla oblongata, and the cerebellum here, which is present located just below the cerebrum. So first endocrine gland is the hypothalamus. So it is located just below the thalamus. The hypothalamus, the name itself indicate hypo, below the thalamus. That is called as the hypothalamus. Here the name itself suggesting that a particular part of the brain which is located just below the thalamus, that we have called as the hypothalamus, and just above the brainstem. Just above the brainstem. This is the way in this picture I'm showing you where I'm moving the cursor. This is the brainstem, and this is the part of the thalamus, and here the hypothalamus. So we can say the hypothalamus is located in between the thalamus and the brainstem. So the hypothalamus is the region of the brain which is composed of the many small nuclei with the diverse functions. As we all know, brain itself is a complicated structure which is made up by the number of small nuclei by which they are performing its own function. Among that also, hypothalamus is also the one of the biggest, one of the, even though it is a small region, but it has the number of smallest nuclei with the different functions. Every nuclei which is located in the hypothalamus will perform its own function. So that's why the word I was kept here at is the, even though hypothalamus is composed of the many small nuclei, but the diversity in their function is present. It means every smallest nuclei will perform their own function. So when we see the physiology of this particular hypothalamus, what we have observed, it is the smallest area in the ventral diencephalon of the forebrain. So coming back to the again that slide, it is located the area which is part of the forebrain. I think everybody know about the parts of the forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain. This is the forebrain, this is the midbrain, and this is to be called as the hindbrain. It is located ventrally to the forebrain, backward to the forebrain, and at the floor of the third ventricle. At the floor of the third ventricle, we can say, when we see the ventricles, here we have the third ventricle, and it's located at the base of the floor, or what we can say at the base of the third ventricle, and it's a functional link between the nervous and the endocrine system. So we can say it is a mediator in between the nervous system as well as into the endocrine system. Now in the recent advanced researches we have came across that till in previous or in the last decade, what we have studied, that pituitary is to be called as the master gland. But now, from the last 2 decades, it's to be known that hypothalamus is to be called as the master gland, because whatever the secretions of the pituitary gland are there, those secretions inhibited by this hypothalamus, and that's why instead of calling pituitary as a master gland, we are calling the hypothalamus is the master gland. It will secrete a number of hormones. Some of those hormones like ADH are there, that is we can call the vasopressin, DA, or we can call the dopamine, that is the corticotropin releasing hormone, that is the CRH. These are some of the hormones secreted by your hypothalamus. How the hypothalamus will release the work on the different parts of your body. Okay, so that we can see here. So the hypothalamus produces the certain hormone, that is the, along with those hormones it will also secrete the RHS, that is the releasing hormone and the inhibiting hormone. Just I was told recently, within 2 minutes back, I was told, repeated the word hypothalamus is to be called as the master gland, and this is because of this inhibiting hormone, or we can say the HIDS also. This completely is to be called as the HIDS, that is inhibiting hormone, because this will help. This in this picture we can see, this will secreting the hormone, that is, this is the inhibitor hormone secreted by the hypothalamus, and this will inhibit the pituitary to secrete its own hormone. Okay, so this is the arrow. Hypothalamus will secrete the hormone. It will work on the pituitary. From the pituitary hormone, pituitary will again release its hormone. Then it will enter into the what we can say the tropic hormone, and it will work on the target cell. It will work on the particular target cell also, we can say. So we can say the hypothalamus will working as the hormone, or it will release the hormone called as the inhibiting hormone, which directly work on the it will the secreted by the, it will goes on to the pituitary. Pituitary will secrete the hormone, and from the pituitary it will the whatever the hormone will secreted, number of the hormones are secreted by the pituitary, and those hormones will work on the target cell. So that's why we can say the secretion of the pituitary is also under the control of the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus, whatever the hormone have been secreted by the hypothalamus, they are traveling to the adenohypophysis. Adenohypophysis is nothing but the area of the pituitary, which we'll discuss, which we'll see in the next slide. So at whatever the hormone has been secreted by the hypothalamus, that will traveling through this adenohypophysis, particularly with the specialized capillary system. So that's why I was took the example previously only. What is the capillary system? It is nothing but the capillary system is nothing but the closed, uh, what we can say, closed circulatory system. Also, that is there. That is the biggest topic which we'll discuss in the next forthcoming guest lectures. So, just I was give the introduction about the capillary system is nothing but the that will take the whatever the unwanted secretions are there in your body, that should be taken on by the capillary system, and that will enter into the again circulation. That is not a part to discuss here, but just coming to the back to the point, that is the whatever the secretion are secreted by this hypothalamus, that will directly indirectly will enter to the adenohypophysis, the part of the pituitary, through the capillary system, and they can cause the release of the anterior pituitary hormones, or they are inhibiting the anterior adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary to release their own hormone in the general circulation. For that purpose only, we have called hypothalamus is to be called as the master gland, or we have said that the whatever the pituitary gland secretions are there, those are under the control of the hypothalamus, because hypothalamus will secrete such inhibiting hormone which make the pituitary to secrete their own hormone. So that's why the hypothalamus will play very dominant role in regulating maximum body functions, which include your body temperature is there, maintenance of the body temperature, regulation your appetite and the thirst, like that a number of functions carried out by your hypothalamus through this hormonal system. So this is in brief about the hypothalamus. I think everybody has understood about the hypothalamus. So the next important endocrine gland, we will go through the pituitary gland. So when you see the anatomy of the pituitary gland, it is located in the cella turcica, or the base of the skull bone. So it is the smallest pea-shaped gland. It is a very smallest pea-sized gland, which is carried, even though it is small in structure, but it will carry the number of functions of the human body, or also we can say it will control complete human physiology. So this is located just below the hypothalamus, and the area where the pituitary located, that we have called the sella turcica. So basically this gland will have the two lobes. One is the biggest lobe, which we have called the adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary. One is the smaller lobe, which we have called the posterior pituitary. So it is smaller than the pea shape, and it will carry a very important function. It is also being called the one of the master gland after the hypothalamus. The length of this is the just 1.2 to 1 2 to 1.5 centimeter, and it will measures about the 1.5 grams. So this in this picture we can see the about the pituitary gland. So this is the anterior hypophysis, and this is the anterior part of the pituitary. This is the posterior part of the pituitary. Here the cells are there which are secreting the blood. So these are the nucleus which we can call the paraventricular nucleuses are there. These are called as the neurosecretory nucleuses are there, and this is a part of the pituitary which we can call the median eminence. This is the part of the pituitary we can call the median eminence, and this is to be called the infundibular stem. This is called as the infundibular stem, and this is called as this bluish discoloration part is called as the pars tuberalis. This is called as the pars tuberalis, and here we will get the connection of the optic chiasma. This is not the part two, means I'm showing you the relations of the pituitary with the different part of the cerebrum. It is well protected, located within the cell, within the skull ventricle at the ventricle, skull ventricle at the surface of the brain, and that we have called as the sella turcica there. It lies in the hypophyseal fossa of the sphenoid bone just below the hypothalamus. See here, just I was told you in this diagram itself, this is the hypothalamus. This part is called as the hypothalamus, and over this one we'll have the sphenoid bone, which is the part of the again the skull bone itself. Okay, so it will consist the two. This will consist the two parts, that anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary. We can call the separate gland, that is the anterior pituitary gland, also called as the posterior pituitary gland, and or we can say the part of the pituitary, that is anterior lobe and the posterior lobe. Also, we can call this one. We can call either anterior lobe or posterior lobe, or we can call anterior pituitary gland or posterior pituitary gland, or we can also call this anterior pituitary part of the pituitary as the adenohypophysis, and the posterior pituitary part is called as the neurohypophysis. In this diagram, it's very clear for you that the largest part is the adenohypophysis than that of the neurohypophysis or posterior pituitary. So how the hormone is been entering here? See here, the bluish are the arteries, veins, and the red are to be called as the veins. So whatever the arteries, whatever the secretions has to be secreted by this pituitary gland, that is entering into this directly into the inflowing blood here, that is the arteries, and this is the portal blood vessels what we can say here, and by this the secretions to be entering into the directly to the bloodstream here. So this is about the pituitary gland. Now we are going to know about what are the secretions secreted by the anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary respectively. So first we'll know about the anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary gland will secrete the major several number of major hormones. For example, the tropical hormones stimulates another endocrine gland to grow and secrete its hormone. Why I was again use the word the pituitary as also the master gland. Okay, previously I was told you that hypothalamus is the master gland. Now I am saying that again pituitary is one of the master gland. Why I am saying this word? Because that answer is present in this particular second sentence of this slide, that tropical hormone stimulates the another endocrine gland to grow and secrete its hormone. Means how the hypothalamus is inhibiting the pituitary to secrete their hormones, like that pituitary subhormones are there which are inhibiting the other endocrine gland to secrete their own hormones. For example, thyroid stimulating hormone is one of the hormones secreted by your anterior pituitary, or we can say the adenohypophysis. The name itself indicates TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. This adenohypophysis hormones will inhibit the thyroid gland to secrete their hormone, that is T3 and T4, which we'll discuss in the forthcoming slides. So, by that we can say the secretion of the thyroid gland is due to the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is secreted by the adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary. So, which type of the cells are located in this adenohypophysis? The cells which are located here are the epithelial cells. Okay, along with that one, these are also have the neurosecretory cell. Why the neurosecretory cells? I am telling you in this diagram, those are called as the hypothalamic neurons, which are having the this neurosecretory cells. But larger amount of cells we will find here in the adenohypophysis as the epithelial cells, which will going to secrete their own hormone. See in this picture, this is the blood vessels and this is the releasing hormones, okay, from the hypothalamus. So this is the neurosecretory cells. Neurosecretory cells which are located in the hypothalamus. These are coming here through this where I'm moving the cursor on this particular diagram. The neurosecretory cells which are the secretion which are secreted, because above this we will have the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus secreted hormone will enter through this this area, that is the blood vessels. From the blood vessels it is entering into the directly into the pituitary endocrine cells of the anterior pituitary. So these are the releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. So arrow mark is there. So these are nothing but the releasing hormone from the hypothalamus, and these hormones will enter into the pituitary, and that hormone will inhibit this pituitary cells to secrete its own hormone, that is TSH, ACTH, FSH, and LH, growth hormone, prolactin, and the endorphin, like that the hormones. So this is because of the hypothalamus. Now coming to the pituitary. Similar way, pituitary will have its own hormone, that is a thyroid stimulating hormone. This will enter into the bloodstream and it will act on the thyroid gland cells, which is, and that hormone will inhibit that those cells of the thyroid gland to secrete their hormone, that is their own hormone. And this is the hormone nothing but the thyroid stimulating hormone. In similar way, ACTH, that is the this will ACTH will help in acting on the adrenal cortex, or we can say the suprarenal glands. Okay, so this will act on the to inhibit adrenal cortex to secrete their hormone, own hormone. Similar way, FS is nothing but if follicle stimulating hormone, LH is nothing but a luteinizing hormone, and these hormones will helping or working on the ovaries, so to secrete or to release the ovum, or to release the follicles, and to perform to have the normal menstrual cycle during the before the pregnancy, and after the luteinizing hormone help to maintain the pregnancy or to secrete their own hormones. These are also helping to ovaries to secrete the what we can say the estrogen and the progesterone. These are the FSH and the functions carried by the FSH and the LH of the adenohypophysis. Next we'll have the growth hormone. That is, it will help for the normal growth of the human body. Whatever the growth of the human body is there, this is due to the growth hormone secreted by this adenohypophysis. Next with the prolactin. That is this prolactin itself, the name itself indicate that this hormone will work on the mammary glands. Okay, in the mammals, particularly mammary glands, after the pregnancy, the woman needs the secretion of the milk, and that is because of this prolactin hormone. And before the pregnancy or before the delivery, for the proper growth of the mammary glands, we need the prolactin. Next, we'll have the endorphin hormone, which is the co-receptor in the brain itself. It is the pain receptor. What we can say, whatever the pain we are feeling, this is because of the hormone that is called the endorphin. This will help. This hormone is called a pain receptor in particular to the brain. Like that, anterior pituitary will going to secrete the this type of the different hormones. So for again coming back to that same point, that is the TSH, how the TSH will work. So here in this picture we can see commonly. So there is the pituitary will secrete the thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone come here. It will goes in work on the thyroid gland, and that thyroid gland will going to secrete its own hormone, that is tetraiodothyroxine, thyroxine, and the calcitonin. So like that, thyroid stimulating hormone will work on the on the thyroid gland by the pituitary gland itself. So next we'll have the adrenocorticotropic hormone, that is ACTH. So again, the same diagram you can see hypothalamus. Hypothalamus will work on the pituitary. Pituitary will secrete the ACTH, and ACTH will work directly on the glands which are located on the kidneys, which those are called as suprarenal glands or the adrenal glands, and these adrenal glands will release their and then this hormone will act on the adrenal cortex to increase in size and to secrete the larger and larger amount of cortisol hormone, which is nothing but the secretion of the your adrenal cortex. So the diagram is very clear. This will comes here, this will act, and from this will release ACTH, which will work on the adrenal cortex, and adrenal cortex will start to release the cortisol. Like that, the ACTH will work of the ACTH of the, or we can say adenocorticotrophic hormone of the anterior pituitary will work on your adrenal cortex. Next we'll have the gonadotrophic hormone, which will have the two types of the, that is the GnRH have the luteinizing hormone and the follicle stimulating hormone. These two hormones have their different function. That is, just I was told you, that is LHX act with the FSH. They will not work separately. They will work along with each other. A luteinizing hormone will work with the follicle. Luteinizing hormone inhibit the follicle stimulate the to secrete the follicle stimulating hormone, and follicle stimulating will work on the ovaries to release the to release the ovum from the ovaries, and to what we can say that to stimulate the follicles. Okay, so LH acts with the FSH to perform the various function. Similar way here we can say, and this is the in the female reproductive hormones, whereas in the male gonads it will helping for the secretion of the testosterone. So causes the estrogen production increase in and the ovulation, that I was told you. So both LH and FSH, these hormone will release helping or inhibiting ovaries to release the estrogen production in more quantity, and because of the estrogen production in more quantity, automatically when estrogen will increase, the progesterone will decrease, and that will help for the ovulation, nothing but the release of the ovum from the ovaries, and that will helping for the maintenance of the normal menstrual cycle in the female reproductive cycle. So, and also how that will work, again it will stimulate the formation of the corpus luteum and its production to the production of and its production of the progesterone. It is there estrogen level, and it will maintain the estrogen and the progesterone. By that we can say one axis is there in the hypothalamo pituitary ovarian axis, that is hypothalamus, pituitary and ovaries. So this axis we can call it the hypothalamo pituitary ovarian axis, which will work on the female reproductive organs, particularly to maintain the normal reproductive cycle in the females. If any disturbance in this hypothalamo pituitary ovarian axis will be, that will disturb complete reproductive life of the females. So that axis we can call the we have called it hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. Also, this will help to stimulate the intestinal cells to cells of the testes to secrete the testosterone in the males. The previous function in the females, whereas in the males they will work, the target is the testes, where they are helping to secrete the testosterone. So like that, gonadotrophin hormone, the name itself indicate gonads. The name itself indicate the gonads. The name of this hormone as the gonads, the female gonad as the ovaries, and the male gonad we can take as the testes, and by that they are working on the both male and as well as on the females gonads. So that is the gonadotrophic hormone. The next hormone nothing but the growth hormone. That is, growth hormone speeds up the movement of the amino acids out of the blood and into the cells to promote the anabolism and of the amino acids and the tissue proteins. So this is the growth hormone which is going to the liver, and also it will helping for the fat cells, and that will directly cause the amount, that will directly work on these fat cells, and it will effect, we can see the largest fat cell coming to the smallest size, and here it will work on the liver. It will helping to secrete IGF-1, which will work on the directly on the growth of the bones. And lastly we can say the indirect effect, that is the length of the bone has been increased. Means first what it will do, it will reduce the fat, and it will also increase the size of the growth, and like the bone, and like this the work of the growth hormone will be there into the growth of the normal human being. It will also promote the fat catabolism and slow down the glucose metabolism. So growth hormone not only helping for the growth of the human body, it will also help it will also helping for the promotion of the fat catabolism, means to reduce the fat, also to slow down the glucose catabolism. By this the growth hormone will help to the normal human being. So the next hormone will have the melanocyte stimulating hormone, that is the MSH we can call. So it will work with the other hormone to control the pigmentation of the skin. So it will not directly work on the skin, it will work with the other hormone related to the other glands, which we'll discuss in the forthcoming slide. So directly we can say this hormone will work on the pigmentation of the skin, whatever we are going to observe in response to the ultraviolet rays. Now what is common is one pigmentation of the skin. When anyone will expose to the more sunlight, automatically will find a small black dots on your skin. So that is nothing but the pigmentation of the skin be due to the direct exposure to the ultraviolet raise, and it will produce the production of the by skin and the pituitary gland is enhanced and to provide the pigmentation to the skin, eyes, and the hair. So automatically that will helping to control the pigmentation. So by that, it is production by the skin and the pituitary gland. This melanocyte not only produced by the pituitary, it will also produced by the skin also automatically. So that will enhance and provide the pigmentation, or we can say it will stop the moreover pigmentation or to control the pigmentation of the skin and the eyes, that is the melanocyte stimulating hormone. So these are the hormones up to this extent we have studied, or we have came across the hormone secreted by the anterior pituitary part, or we can say adenohypophysis. Now I'm going to deal with you the hormones secreted by the part of the posterior part of the pituitary, or the neurohypophysis or posterior pituitary gland. Here we will find two group of the neurons which will make the posterior gland hormones. Two type of the neurons will get here that will makes the posterior gland hormones and pass along with the axons and the neurohypophysis. So that's why they release it directly controlled by the nervous stimulation. Now, as compared to the neurohypophysis, the posterior hypophysis is directly controlled in the nervous stimulation. And the neurohypophysis is that only two type of the hormone, that is antidiuretic hormone, what we can say the ADH, and the oxytocin. Antidiuretic hormone will work on the kidneys, and the oxytocin will work either on the uterus and the mammary gland. How they are working there? First, we can see the ADH, that is the antidiuretic hormone. So ADH accelerates the reabsorption of the water from the urine in the kidneys and back into the blood. Everybody about the formation of the urine into the what we can say the kidneys. Formation of the urine, everybody knows, that is glomerular. The functional unit of the kidneys are nothing but your glomerular cells, or we can say the Bowman's capsule is there, glomerulus is there. Again, the but his the what we can say the adjacent cells, adjacent part related to the kidneys is there. So whatever this ADH will be there, that is the what also we can call this ADH the vasopressin. Okay, so what it will do, it will it will work directly on the kidneys along with the secretion of the related to the suprarenal gland, that is the aldosterone. That will discuss suprarenal gland secretion, will discuss in the forthcoming classes. So automatically you can see here. So this ADH accelerates the reabsorption of water, whatever the absorption of water has been done even large intestine. Okay, actually water absorption has been done in your transverse transverse colon and the descending colon of the your large intestine. Whatever water, remaining water is coming into the kidneys, that also absorbed by this ADH hormone, and that water has been absorbed by the urine. After the formation of the urine, again water will, if more quantity amount of water will remains in the urine, that also will absorbed by this ADH, and that will directly enter in kidneys back into the blood. And more water has, by that what it will do is it will remove more water. What more water moves out of the kidney tubules into the blood, less than the water remains into the kidneys. By that what will happen, automatically more amount of water will passes through the kidneys, nothing but in the form of the urine itself, tubules into the blood, and less water remains into the kidneys, and therefore less urine is excreted from the body itself. So by that it will work. Also ADH acts to decrease the urine volume. So by this, I was just told you, it will absorb the more quantity of water. So that's why automatically when it will absorbing the more amount of water, the quantity of urine or volume of the urine will going to decrease. So ADH will act to decrease the urine volume. So again, the hyposecretion of the ADH result into diabetes insipidus, which is nothing but the, in which one of the common symptoms is the large volume of the formation of the urine, or we can say the dehydration. If the ADH secretion will reduce in its quantity, automatically what will happen, absorption of water will be less, and by that more amount of water will release into the or directly passing to the kidneys. So what will happen, automatically more amount of urine will form there, and that will leads the more and more frequency of urination will be the more, which is the one of the common symptom which will observe into the diabetes insipidus. That is due to the hyposecretion related to the antidiuretic hormone, or we can say the vasopressin. Next, we'll go to the next hormone secreted by your posterior pituitary, that is the oxytocin. It is secreted by the posterior pituitary of the female before and after she has the baby. Before and after the she is having the baby itself. That is, oxytocin stimulate the uterine contraction to initiate and maintain the labor. After, at the time of the delivery, what will happen? The particular to the normal delivery. So this oxytocin will helping to the, or it will inhibiting to the uterine muscles to release, to have the more and more contraction and the relaxation. By that, what will happen? There is an inhibition, or there is an what we can say, formation of the there is an inhibition of the by that this oxytocin will work in the pregnant ladies at the time of the delivery. So along with that, and what will happen if the after the pregnancy, this oxytocin for the release of the milk from the breast. In this picture we can see directly oxytocin one. Here we can see that is the oxytocin will work, increase the uterine contraction. That by that stretching of the uterus will be the more, stretching of the cervix will be there, automatically baby will comes out at the time of the delivery. That we can say the mechanical stimulation, that is nothing but the stretching of the uterus and the uterine cervix. Uterus and the uterine cervix, this is the one of the function of the oxytocin. Next will be there on the mammary glands, mechanical stimulation of the nipples of the breast at the time of the sucking, or when the baby needs the food in the form of the breast milk. At that time what will happen, that will stimulate, that will oxytocin will inhibit to or stimulate the breast milk to release that mammary glands to release the what we can say the milk to the for the feeding. So that's why it stimulates the glandular cells of the breast to release the milk into the ducts from which the baby can obtain the nutrients. That only I want to tell you that. Okay, so these are the glandular cells are there. So this oxytocin will work on these glandular cells of the breast, and these glandular cells will secrete or release the milk. These are nothing but the ducts. These are nothing but the, where I'm moving the cursor, these are nothing but the ducts, and from here the baby will obtain the nutrients. So these are the two different functions carried out by the oxytocin on the first on the uterus, second on the breast. So these are the two hormones released by your posterior pituitary. That is nothing but ADH is one. Next one is the oxytocin. So this will be there about your what we can say about the pituitary. One is the anterior pituitary, another one is the posterior pituitary. So the next gland, just along with the pituitary in the brain, we will have the third more gland, that is the pineal gland. First gland we have discussed hypothalamus. Second we have discussed the pituitary. Third we are discussing here the pineal gland. That is the, which is the very smallest gland. It is the very smallest gland. Here we are in the diagram we are going to see here. So this is the cerebellum. This is the cerebrum. In between these two we will have the smallest gland, that is the pineal gland is there. How much it is smallest, but that much of biggest function is carried out by this pineal gland. It is the very smallest body attached to the roof of the third ventricle. Here we can see this diagram. This is the pineal gland, and these are the ventricle. This is the ventricle. So here it is related with the roof of the third ventricle. And see about the size of the pineal gland is only about 10 millimeters long, smallest than that of an pituitary. Pituitary's length is about in centimeters, where the pineal length is in the millimeters. We can see here. So if the length of the pineal gland is only about 10 millimeters long, which is reddish brown in color, and it is surrounded by the capsule. It is completely surrounded by the capsule. Here we get surrounding structure to the pineal is the cerebellum. Here is the pituitary we can observe. Here we will have the roof of the third ventricle. Here we have the hypothalamus. This is the pons, and this complete nothing but the brainstem, what we can see here. Okay, so this is the location, anatomical location of the pineal gland. It will, if the any if this gland may have the atrophy, means if the gland size physiologically, it will size of the gland may increase after the puberty and may become calcified in the later life. It is the normal physiology of this pineal gland, that how the age is advances, the size of the gland may become atrophied or it will increase, and after the puberty it will increase and it will get calcified in the latter life. Means how the age will advances, automatically the gland will get calcified. So this is the peculiarity of this pineal gland we can observe. So what the function is performed by this pineal gland we can see here. The pineal gland produce the melatonin regulating hormone. That is nothing but the what we can say, it will work, the name itself, melatonin, will work on the skin itself. Production of the melatonin regulating onset of the puberty and the menstrual cycle. That is, onset of the puberty, it will helping for the, means what we can say here, melatonin will works on the to get the puberty, and also it will work on the menstrual cycle. It act on the hypothalamus to inhibit the gonadotropin releasing hormone when the growth development is needed. So it will also act on the hypothalamus to inhibit or to secrete the gonadotropin releasing hormone when the growth is needed. Means in earlier side, when you in earlier slides we have discussed the function of the gonadotrophins. Why the gonadotrophins are needed? In the females, they are needed to have the reproductive life in the form of the menstrual cycle. In the males, it will needed to increase the testosterone. When the testosterone and progesterone levels has been increased at the time of the puberty, so that's why the melatonin helping at them to maintain when it will work at the when the onset of the puberty is there, and when the menstrual cycle will begins in the females. Also, it will regulate the endocrine system and cause the feelingness of the sleepiness. Particularly, this hormone will help for the helping for the sleepiness. Whatever the drowsiness is we will feel. This is because of the secretion secreted by this pineal gland. Its level highest at the night and the lowest around the midday. So that's why the secretion of the pineal gland is more into the night when we in a deep sleep. Whatever the deep sleep we are getting, it is because of the hyper secretion, or the secretion is increased of the because of the increased secretion of the pineal gland, and automatically it will lowers in the midday when we'll have the we don't have any type of the sleepiness because of the secretion influenced by the day and daylight hours. That is, seasonal variation may be there here. That is, means we can say the gland will more active in the night than that of in the daytime. So this is about the pineal gland, we can say. Next major gland, you can see the thyroid gland. The name itself indicates thyroid is located, the region here located in the neck region, and the gland is just like a H shape. English letter H. Everybody know about this one. That is the H-shaped gland. It is the endocrine gland, which will weigh about 15 to 25 grams, and it is located anterior to the lower part of the neck region. In the diagram, it is very clear for you that the gland is located anteriorly to the neck part. It lies in front of the larynx. When you see the anatomical structure located in the neck region, we will see we have the larynx, pharynx, trachea, isn't it? So the gland is located in front of the larynx and the trachea at the level of that lower three cervical and the first thoracic vertebra. Lower three cervical means the cervical are 7 in number. So what we can say, 5, 6, 7, and the first thoracic vertebra we can see C5, C6, C7, and the T1. It is in coming contact with the lower three cervical and the first thoracic vertebra. The anatomical location related to the thyroid gland. It will consist. It will have the two lobes. So in this diagram, it is clear as the H shape I was told you. It will have the two lobes. It will have the two lobes joined together by the area which are called at the isthmus. The two H letter have it will form one vertical, two vertical lines joined. The two vertical lines are joined together with the one horizontal line. So here also we can see the horizontal area which will connect in the two lobes, that we can call the that part we can call the isthmus. The right lobe, the left lobe, and the part which is connecting both the right and the left lobe, we can call that the isthmus part of the thyroid gland. So this is about the thyroid anatomy related with the thyroid gland. And when you see the structurally, the thyroid gland is covered by the fibrous capsule. It is completely covered by the fibrous capsule. So that's why it will give the shape of the butterfly. It will have the shape of the butterfly, which will have the two lobes and highly vascular, means the blood supply is more to this gland. Approximately 80 to 120 ml of blood per minute will be will be there for this thyroid gland. And the thyroid gland tissue is particularly composed by the follicles. Very smallest unit structure is the tissues which are thyroid tissues, or the tissues which are present in this thyroid gland. Those are called as the follicles. And when you see the length of the lobes, individually lobes, so each lobe is about 5 centimeter long, 3 centimeter wide, and 12 centimeter is its thickness. We can say 5, 3, and 12. Okay, so there is no the lobe weight, sorry, the what we can measurement of the individual lobes. In the length 5 centimeter, in the width it is 3 centimeter, and in the thickness it is about 12 centimeter. And the hormone secreted by this is already I was told you when we were discussing about the TSH. Once again I am revising that is the T3, what we can say the triiodothyroxine, tetraiodothyroxine, that is thyroxine also we can T4, and the calcitonin. So along with that one, third hormone will help to increase the cell metabolism. So here in this picture we can see the different heart function, the digestive function, brain development, bone health, muscle contraction, relaxation function. These all functions are under the control of the thyroid gland. Means indirectly we can say all the body functions are completely dependent on this secretion of the thyroid gland. That is heart functioning nothing but the its circulation and the supply of the blood. Digestive system I was given the picture, that is nothing but the process of the digestion, and the brain development and the nervous system for the passage of the message to from one place to the another place. The growth and the development of the bone is also there, is under the control of the T3 and the T4 is there. Muscle contraction and relaxation, both, that means our motor muscle contraction and relaxation directly indicates our locomotor activities. That's why we have commonly say all the body functions are totally dependent on the thyroid secretion. That is the T, either you can say the T3, T4, and the calcitonin there. So this is about the thyroid gland. Next we'll have the one more gland which is located along with the thyroid. Those are called the parathyroid. The name itself indicates parathyroid. The glands which are located along with the thyroid gland, those are called as the parathyroid gland. So these are four smallest glands found at the on the back of the thyroid gland. Means we can say posteriorly these glands are located on the thyroid gland. Each gland is measure about the 140 milligrams in their weight, and it is just like the split pea. Means we can take the pea seed and make divide it from the centrally. How we can observe similar way the size of the this parathyroid gland we can see here. And the main secretion of this parathyroid is nothing but the PTH, that is parathyroid hormone is the main hormone secreted by this parathyroid gland. So this PTH, what it will do, it will regulate the level of the calcium, magnesium, phosphate. Means these are maintaining our what we can say the calcium, magnesium, and the phosphate minerals. We can say directly the mineral level, maintaining the mineral level into the blood. And also, for example, calcium is needed for our growth and the development of the bone. Magnesium and the phosphate are in the blood will helping for the particularly for the contraction and relaxation of the muscles. Again, for example, in the picture itself indicating the bone will help, the bones will helping in the bones, it will helping for the calcium will help here. In the kidneys, reduces the calcium clearance and vitamin D activation, which is very important for us. In the intestine, it will activate vitamin D to absorb calcium in the gut, to absorb the more and more amount of calcium into the gut. And that all these functions is carried out by this parathyroid. Also parathyroid increases the calcium concentration in the blood, and because of that only, so all this needed the calcium. Bone is also need the calcium, kidneys also needed the calcium, and also this one what we can say intestine also needed the calcium. So release of the calcium is from the bone because of the PTH. That release calcium and that PTH will helping in the kidneys to reduce the level of the calcium clearance, and because of that automatically vitamin D will get activated in the intestine. It will activate the vitamin D. Why it will activate the vitamin D? To absorb the more and more amount of calcium into the gut. So directly and indirectly everything is dependent on the secretion of the parathyroid gland. And the opposite effect of the calcitonin, the PTH stimulate the osteoclast, which is nothing but the bone cells. Okay, bones bone resorbing cell to seek to increase their breakdown of the bone matrix. Okay, and this moves calcium out of the bone into the blood. So by that we can say the bone will release the more and more amount of calcium here. That is, it will stimulate the osteoclast to increase their breakdown. Osteoclast, because for the proper growth and the development, death and the formation of the cells is very needed. Osteoclast and osteocytes. So automatically osteoclasts will die, osteocytes will going to form. So automatically because of this breakdown of the osteoclast, what will be that breakdown? Because of breakdown, what will happen? The calcium will release from the bones, and that calcium will enter into the blood, and that entered calcium into the blood coming in contact with the again urine in the kidneys, where that will reduces, and automatically it will clear the vitamin D activation. And whatever the calcium we have taken into the food, that will enter into the into the GI tract, and that will help intest. And this PTH will whatever the calcium will enter into the abdomen or the digestive tract, that PTH will activate the vitamin D into the into the your gut to help the absorb for it will activate the vitamin D to absorb the calcium which have entered into your gut through your food material, and that will be absorbed here. So this is the function carried out by your pit, that is the parathyroid gland. So this is about the parathyroid gland. Next we'll go for the thymus. Again, this is again in related with the what we can say thyroid gland itself. So here this is thyroid gland, we can see. Okay, this is the thymus. So previously why I was to name take the head, it is in relation with the lungs as well as in the in relation with the heart, that is known as the thymus. Okay, so this is the thymus, which will have the right lobe. Also, it will have the left lobe. It will have the septas. Elevated areas are there. So, sorry, the depressed areas called septas, and elevated areas are called to be called as the lobules. So, this is about the thymus, which is located in the upper part of the upper part and behind the sternum. So, when you see the anatomical part here, here the bone is located as the sternum. In between the two lungs, we'll have the sternum. So it is located just behind the sternum and extended up to the root of the neck. It will extend up to the root of, this is the extended part or the upper part of the thymus, which will extend up to the neck part. Okay, so extend upward into the root of the neck. It will weigh in the infants, the weight is about the 10 to 15 grams, whereas in adolescents it will be about the 30 to 40 grams. So major interesting fact in this thymus gland is that one, actually in initial stage, which is very smallest gland, and age is how the age will advances, the weight of the gland may going to increase, and at the adolescence age it will be the 30 to 40 grams. At the middle age it will shrinks, and automatically again it will reduces its weight and come to the 10 to 15 grams. It is the very interesting fact related to this thymus, that at the initial age it's smallest, again it will at the peak level of your age it will goes and it will constant be there, weight is constant. Again later on how the age is advances, it will start to shrink and the weight of the gland will going to reduce, coming back to its own weight at the 10 to 15 grams. Okay, which was there at the infant age. So the organ associated with the thymus are, anteriorly we will have the sternum and the upper four costal cartilage, we can see here thymus in relation with the sternum and the upper four costal cartilage anteriorly. Posteriorly we will have the aortic arch. Posteriorly we will have the aortic arch because it is in relation with the heart. So arch of aorta will be there here, and its branches related to the aortic arch. Laterally it will have the both the lungs, right and the left lung, and inferiorly it will have the heart. So this is the structural anatomical relation with the thymus. That is, once again I'm repeating here, anteriorly it will have the sternum and the four costal cartilage, upper four costal cartilage. Posteriorly it will have the aortic arch and their branches. On the other side, it will have the lungs. Superiorly, it will have the it will have the root structure in the root of the neck. Superiorly, it is in relation with the related structure which are there into the root of the neck, and inferiorly, it will there in connection with the heart. So, structure of thymus will be again how the thyroid is connected with the isthmus. Two lobes of the thymus, thyroid gland are connected with the isthmus. In the similar way, thymus consists the two lobes which is joined together with the areolar tissue. As such, there is no H-shaped connection is there, or horizontal connection is not there like the thyroid, but the both the lobes are connected with each other through the areolar tissues. So, what is the function of this thymus? Thymus gland hormone is nothing but the thymosin, which is needed for the development and the function of the immune system of the body. Okay, immune system means the system which will helping us to fight against the disease causing organism. So whatever the immune system mainly will have, the T lymphocytes are there. Everybody came across about the lymphatic cells, lymphocytes are there, and the immune system, that is the immunity, what we can say. Okay, this is known as the T lymphocyte, which is nothing but the cell-mediated immunity. Okay, natural immunity is there, and also one is the perceived immunity is there. Among that, one is the T lymphocytic cell-mediated immunity. So this thymosin will help for the development and the functioning, proper functioning of the immune system. So it helps to protect the body against the foreign organism. So automatically, when there is a reduction in the thymosin, so what will happen? We will get more, the body will get more and more amount of infections, because if automatically thymosin secretion will reduce, hyposecretion of thymosin will work on the reduction in the T lymphocytes, and automatically when the T lymphocytes formation will reduce, the immune system of the body is also not functioning properly. So that's why our body will become more prone for the diseases, and like that the thymosin will help for the on the immune system. So this is about the thymus. Next, we'll have the one more gland in your abdomen, that is the pancreas. So it is very interesting gland. What we can say, actually, it is to be called actually it is to be called anatomically. It is called a romance of the abdomen. What we can say, why it is called it will perform the romance of the abdomen, because it is in close relation with the C-shaped duodenum. Anatomically, everybody has studied up to this extent, I think so. So that's why this is called anatomically romantic gland, what we can say. Okay, pancreas is the grayish pink in color gland, which is about the 12 to 15 centimeter in its length, and it's about 60 grams in its weight. Where it is located, it is present at the C-shaped duodenum. C-shaped duodenum, which is the continuation of your stomach from the upper side. It resembles a fish with its head and a neck. It looks like a fish with the its head. Here I'm moving the cursor, and with the neck, it looks like a fish, and C-shaped. It will located into the C-shaped part of the duodenum, which pinkish color diagram which we are seeing here. It is extending. What is the duodenum? It is nothing but the extension of the your pyloric part of the stomach. Duodenum is nothing but the extended horizontal part of the stomach. Okay, and its body, the body of the spleen, sorry, the body of the pancreas, the body of the pancreas moves upward, horizontally upward, below and behind the stomach, and it's still in connection with the pancreas. It's still is the tail of the pancreas in relation with the spleen. So what we have observed here, the part of the pancreas are nothing but it will have the head, it will have the neck, it will have the body, it will have the tail. So the head part completely lodged into the C-shaped duodenum along with the neck. Again, here we'll have the one process that we have called as the unsynaptic process also there in the pancreas. The body is elongated uppermost part, which is located, goes upward horizontally and lies below and behind the stomach. And more constricted part of this pancreas we have called it as a tail, which is in relation with the spleen. The tail part of the pancreas will come in contact with the spleen. So that's why, according to the old anatomical style, romance of the abdomen is the pancreas, which lies in the arm of the duodenum. So that's why I was called it as the which we can observe the romance in the abdomen, because see the structure later how it will be there. Okay, so this is about the anatomy related with the pancreas, which is briefly I was told you. So what is the endocrine function carried out by your pancreas? Endocrinologically, we will see the function of the pancreas, that is, it is distributed throughout the gland or the grouped specialized cells, which can call the pancreatic isolates of the Langerhans. The cells which are performing endocrine function of the pancreas, those are called the cells of isolate of the Langerhans. And the endocrine pancreas secrete the hormone which are called the insulin and the glucogens. So, which are principally concerned with the control of the blood glucose levels. So, this hormone, that is insulin and the glucogen hormone, will helping of the or which will control and in connection or in concern with the to maintain the blood glucose level into the your bloodstream, which will the Langerhans of the isolates of the Langerhans are again three types of cells, that alpha cells, beta cells, and the delta cells are there. Okay, so these are the alpha cells. In the picture, we can observe that is the alpha cell. Here I am moving the cursor. Those are called as the alpha cells. These alpha cells will secrete the glucagon. The alpha cells may going to secrete the glucagon, which stimulate the conversion of the glycogen to the glucose. This glucagon helping for the conversion of the glycogen into the glucose into the liver and the skeletal muscles. So here I'm moving my cursor, that leads to the blood sugar increases. So if what will happen if this glucagon will converting glycogen into the glucose, this will convert, but later on this will not converting into the energy. So this glucose level may remains as it is into the blood, then that automatically what we can say observe into the bloodstream, and that we can call the diabetes here. Okay, so glycogen, glucose will not convert into the energy. So if it will not convert into the energy, this is that glucose conversion of the glucose is due because of the insulin again. So if the insulin secretion will not be more, so that's why glucose will not convert there, and if it will remains as it is into your bloodstream, so that is called that this is that condition we can call the diabetes here. Next we'll see the beta cells. It will secrete the insulin. So when the nutrient, especially glucose, are in excess in the insulin, promote their storage by acting the cell membrane and the membrane, and stimulating uptake and use of the glucose by the muscles and the connective tissues. So here, whatever the glucose will convert, whatever the glucose has been converted by the alpha cells, that glucose has been utilized by our cells of cell membrane, and that those are utilized by our muscles. Nothing but the energy level, nothing but the energy. If it will not if it will not utilized properly, then that glucose will remains as it is into the bloodstream, and that we can call the blood sugar. We will find the blood sugar level, increased blood sugar level into the bloodstream. When it will happen, when the insulin secretion either decrease, when the insulin secretion will be decreased, so there we will find out the blood sugar level. So this is about the beta cells secrete the insulin. Next we'll have the delta cell. This delta cell will secrete the somatostatin, which inhibit the secretion of the both insulin and the glucagon. This will not do injustice with the alpha cells and the beta cells. Delta cells will not do any. I will work also along with the beta cells. I will also work along with the alpha cells. And this delta cell don't say I will only work with that beta cells, or I will work with only the alpha cell. This will work along with the both the cells. So that's why it will inhibit with to the both alpha cells and the beta cells to secrete the glucagon and the insulin. So this is the base. This is the function of the pancreas, endocrine function related with the pancreas. Next we'll have the liver. I want to go in detail about the anatomy of the liver, because everybody knows about the anatomy, where it is located, how many surfaces are there, how many borders are there, what is the falciform ligament. That I will not go in detail about this liver. So just I will go in briefly. I will tell it is always located immediately caudal to the diaphragm, just below the diaphragm, and it is located on the right side of your abdominal cavity. The liver is the largest gland of the body, which will which, and it's about the 1 to 2% of the, which will have the about the 1 to 2% of the body weight is because of this liver, what we can say. So that's why I'm telling you I won't go in detail about the liver anatomy here, because already you have discussed in detail about the liver anatomy. So by the next slide I will move here. That is, when we see the physiology of the liver, it will secrete the two hormone, that is insulin like growth hormone. That is the insulin which will have the effect just like a insulin, which already we have discussed in the pancreas. And also because it is called the growth hormone. Why it is called the growth hormone? Because this hormone will help the regulating the growth of the cell, and also the development of the cell is because of this growth hormone or the growth factor. Okay, it is called as the growth factor, which will regulates the cell growth and the development of the cells. Along with that one, this will also secrete the two important secretion. That is, the one is the angiotensinogen and another one is the angiotensin. That is angiotensinogen and angiotensin, the two secretions. So this what we can say, the pronunciation is totally different of these two. Spelling also we can see angiotensin tensinogen, and another one is the angiotensin. Both are act like the vasoconstrictions, nothing but a constriction of the blood vessels, and this will also help to release the aldosterone from the adrenal cortex. Means again the liver hormone, these are the liver secretion, that is angiotensinogen and angiotensin. Both are also inhibiting the adrenal cortex to secrete its own hormone, that is the aldosterone. So this is about the secretion of the liver. Next we'll go for the adrenal gland. This we can observe cap shaped gland. It is like the triangular gland which is located on the upper part of your both the kidneys, which will have the outermost covering for this adrenal gland, which is yellow in color, is called the capsule. Below that we'll have the cortex, and innermost part is called as the medulla. The location of this adrenal is the located on the top of the each kidney, and that's why these are also called as suprarenal glands. These are also called as the suprarenal glands, and located on both the kidneys, that is right kidney and the left kidney. So that's why these are two in number. The length of the gland is approximately 4 centimeter, and the width is approximately about the 3 centimeter. And these glands have composed of the adrenal cortex. One is the outermost part is the adrenal cortex, which I was shown in this figure. Outermost part is the adrenal cortex, and inner bluish part we can call the adrenal medulla. And the two glands will produce the two different hormones. That is, two different glands will have their own hormone. That is one important hormone, that is aldosterone, what we have discussed in the previously. That is the function of this gland, and who will inhibit to secrete that hormone, that also we have discussed in the previous slide, that is pituitary as well as the liver one. So that's why I'm not going in detail about this adrenal gland. So directly I'm moving for the important gland, that is the ovaries in the females. These are the almond shaped gland, which is about 3.5 centimeter long, or we can say the 1.5 inches in their length. The ovaries have the two main functions, that is they produce the mature eggs. In the diagram we can see here very easily. That is the primary follicle, secondary follicle, matured ovarian vesicle or ovarian follicle. Automatically it will going the that follicle will rupture, and it will secrete the, it will release the ovum, that we can call which we can call the ovulation. And this all the function is under the control of the luteinizing hormone and the follicle stimulating hormone of your anterior pituitary, which already we have discussed. So if fertilization will occur, if there is an after the ovulation, that will that follicle will convert to the corpus luteum. This is called as the mature corpus luteum, and this is nothing but a shrinken graphene follicle, we can call the corpus albicans. Okay, so this is not the part to discuss here. Just I am telling you that is the this function starting from the formation of the follicle to the release and to the formation of the corpus albicans. Albicans is under the control of the luteinizing and the follicle stimulating hormone of the even anterior pituitary. And here the follicle will going to seek the two important hormone. Those are nothing but the estrogen and the progesterone. That is nothing but the female, we can call the sex hormones, which control the reproduction and the sexual development of the females. That is estrogen and the progesterone. What will the function of the estrogen? It will responsible for the development of the secondary sexual characteristics in the female. That is nothing but the for growth and the development of the breast is there, formation of the axillary hairs is there, or the formation of the genital hairs is there, formation of the proper growth and the development of the female reproductive cycles, or the regulation of the female reproductive menstrual cycle. This is the function carried out by your estrogen. And progesterone, it will prepare the body for the conception by causing the build-up the uterine lining, that is nothing but the uterine endometrium and the other changes. I think this part you might have been discussed in the yesterday's discussion about the embryology, while the madam has discussed about the menstrual cycle, the process of fertilization, and the process of implantation. There you might have been discussed how endometrium will helping for the implantation, how endometrium will prepare the bed, how that will become thick, and what will happens at the time of the menstrual cycle if there is no fertilization, and what will how the endometrium will convert into the what we can call decidua after the fertilization or after the implantation. That part will cover into the embryology part. Just you should remember here the hormones are estrogen and the progesterone. Next we'll have the male, that is the testis, which is located into the testis, that is the hormone testis in the male reproductive organs, which is helping for the secretion of the testosterone. Where they are located like the ovaries in the females, the males will have the testis, which both will components of the reproductive system of the endocrine system. In the males, the testis, and in the females, we'll have the ovaries. Physiologically, when we'll see about the testis, the primary function of the testis is to produce the sperm for the spermatogenesis, androgen, and the primary testosterone. The process of spermatogenesis again not the part of the, it is a part of the embryology. Androgen, which is helping for the what we can say formation and the develop androgen and the testosterone, both the hormone and how the progesterone is helping to develop the to develop the secondary sexual characters in the females. Similarly, androgen and the testosterone will helping into the males to form the to develop to growth and for the growth and the development and to develop the sexual secondary sexual characters in the males. For example, formation of the axillary hairs is there, or changing the voice is there. So, or these are the called as the secondary sexual characteristics because of the androgen and the primarily testosterone. So this is about the in brief about the secretion of the testis and the ovaries. Next important gland is the placenta, which is the gland or what we can say the structure which is only available after the pregnancy, not in the normal routine females, and is only available in the at the time of the pregnancy. So that's why it is called the temporary endocrine gland. It is not a permanent endocrine gland which is formed after the fertilization and which will take out after the delivery. So that's why it is called the temporary what we can say the temporary endocrine gland. So it will whatever. So that's why the temporary endocrine gland will secrete the chorionic gonadotropin hormone. It will secreted in the urine. We can see in the this hormone we can commonly observe into the urine in early to detect the early pregnancy test. Urine sample will be collected and this will observe into the pregnancy to for the confirmation of pregnancy whatever we can seeing. Also, it will also secrete the estrogen and the progesterone. It will also see because after the fertilization, what will happen? There is no release of the ovary. There is no release of the ovum from the ovary. So that's why estrogen and the progesterone will not secretion will not be there from the ovary, and that temporary function of the ovaries has to be taken on by the placenta here to secrete the estrogen and the progesterone for the maintenance of the growth, maintenance of the pregnancy. Why it is needed? Endometrium is needed for the growth and the development of the embryo, and for that one to maintain the endometrium we need the estrogen and the progesterone. But after the pregnancy there is a cessation of the menstrual cycle, so there is no formation of the ovum from the there is no release of the ovum from the ovaries. So that's why there is no function of no secretion of the estrogen and progesterone from the ovary. So that's why temporarily that function, that endocrine function of the ovaries is took after by the placenta, and by that the pregnancy has been maintained into the females. So this all the glands are to be discussed as the under the heading of the we have discussed under the heading of the endocrine glands. Okay, so just I will go in brief about the exocrine glands. The number of this one exocrine glands are the smallest one. So they it is just opposite to the endocrine. Endocrine will the ductless gland, where the exocrine, the name itself indicate exo, outside the gland. The secretion will comes outside their gland. Endo means within the gland itself. The secretion which will comes outside the glands that are called as the exocrine glands, and these will have the ducts. The secretion of these glands will comes into the bloodstream via the media is there, which is called as the duct. So that's why these are called as the exocrine glands. Which are the example of the your exocrine glands will include sweat glands, group of the salivary gland, those are the parotid, submandibular, sublingual. Also will have the lacrimal sebaceous glands and the pyloric glands are there. These are the few examples of your exocrine glands. So what is the sweat gland? These are located just below the we can call the this is the in this diagram we can see the sebaceous gland is there. So this is the sebaceous gland and this is the sweat gland. This is the sweat gland is there. Just we can found below the skin level. So these are called apocrine sweat glands, which is located below the skin, and it will helping for the secretion of the sweat. So by that our body temperature will maintain regulation of the body temperature. So structurally we can see the structure of this one coiled tubular structure is there. These are coiled tubular structure which is located in the level at the level of the dermis. So this is about the sweat glands. So next we'll come to the next group of the glands, that is the salivary glands. Among that first is the parotid gland. So the gland is located just inner side of your oral cavity, or externally when you will see that the level of the ear level we can see. Location inside the mouth. These are called the parotid gland. This is serous gland. This is the what we can say, whatever the secretion is there serous, and these are tubulo-alveolar secretion. Gland is there, tubular in nature, and also alveolar secretion will be there. Its production rises to the 50% during the stimulation, or the secretion will be increased at the time of the eating process. So the next we'll have the submandibular gland. The name itself indicate that is the submandibular glands. Submandibular, the gland which is located at the level of the mandible bone. Okay, at the level of the or jawbone, what we can say, the mandibular, those are located at the level of the mandible bone. Those are called as the submandibular glands. They will contribute approximately 60 to 67% of the saliva, means the maximum amount of saliva has been secreted by this submandibular gland. The amount in the 100% of the salivary secretion, the contribution of the saliva of the submandibular gland is 60 to 67%, and on stimulation their contribution decrease in the proportion as the parotid secretions rises up to the 50%. After the stimulation, if the parotid gland will secrete more amounts, so it automatically, when they will increase, automatically submandibular level has been decreased. Again, the location is the what we can say, the in the mouth only, in the inner side. Again, the function product is the serous function. Okay, the function is the mix. That's why you can say the serous salivary secretion, or which is serous in nature. And the structurally, when it is the anatomical structure, these are to be tubulo-alveolar in nature. This is about the submandibular gland. Next, the sublingual gland. So the name itself indicates just below the tongue will have the location of the sublingual gland, which it will produce the less amount of saliva. That is they will contribute in the total volume of the saliva, that they will contribute only 3 to 5% of the total salivary volume. Or these are also called a Reven's gland. Okay, these are located within the mouth, within the oral cavity, and their secretion is mucus in nature. The secretion of the sublingual gland is mucus in nature. See, previously we have known about the parotid gland, their secretion only serous in nature, whereas the submandibular secretion is mixed, that is mucus as well as the serous. In the sublingual, they will secrete only the mucus, and structurally all the glands are similar, that is tubulo-alveolar in their structure. Next, we'll have the this up to this section. These are the what we can salivary glands. Next, again we'll have the sebaceous gland, which are again located in relation with the skin itself. So they will secrete the oil, they will secrete the oily or waxy secretion, sebum. Okay, which we needed for the lubrication and waterproofing of the skin and the hairs of the mammals. Look, if the sebum secretion will be reduced, so automatically we will find our skin very dry. Okay, and hair will also become very dry because of the presence of sebum. Our luster of the or moistness of the skin has been maintained along with the hair moistness. So these are the one of the variety of the, they are located just at the level of the skin, at the level of the dermis, or we can say that the level at nearer to the hair follicle, along, or we can say along with the hair follicle. So the product is the sebum is there, and these are also acinar and branched in nature. So that's why the secretion will comes along with the hair follicle. So in the diagram you can see this is the sebaceous gland, this is the sebum secretion entering into the coming out through the hair follicle, and this is the skin surface. So by that, lusternesss, moistness of the skin and the hair has been maintained by this secretion secreted by the sebaceous gland, nothing but the sebum. So the next exocrine will find out the pyloric gland. The name itself indicates the glands are located into the antrum of the pylorus, which is the part of your stomach, which is the part of your stomach. So these will secrete the gastrin, which is produced by the G cells. Commonly in this diagram, you can see where I am moving my cursor. These are the pyloric glands. These are the pyloric the glands which are located at the pyloric level called the pyloric gland, and the glands which are located at the cardiac end of the stomach called as the cardiac gland. Okay, based on their location, they have been named as the cardiac and the pyloric. They both are secreting their secretion called as the gastrin, and this is because of the cells which are located in these pyloric glands and the gastric cardiac gland, which are called the G cells. Okay, and this gastrin is peptide hormone that stimulate the secretion of the gastric acid. Okay, means the secretion of the hydrochloric gastric acid is under the control of this gastrin. Commonly we can say. So the name of the gland is the pyloric and the cardiac glands, which are located in location in the stomach. The product whatever the product will be secreted by these say G cells which are present in these glands is the mucus in nature, and these are very simple in structurally. They are simple, they are branch, and they are having the tubules or the tubular in nature. So this is about the pyloric glands and the what we can say the cardiac gland. So this is about the endocrine glands as well as the exocrine glands which are discussed today. So as the first phase students are very coming nearer to their exams, so just I will brief about the what type of the questions will comes in your exam and what they have been explained. Actually, the complete your endocrine syllabus is meant for 8 marks. Total in our 100 marks question is the part of the first paper. It will comes for the 8 marks. And which type of the question will come in this objective type of the questions you can face for this one. Also you can face the SAQs, the small answer questions. Also you can face. Also there is a questions maybe the LAQs may going to ask you for how they may going to answer question. For example, define the endocrine gland, enlist them, and explain about the pituitary gland. Or define the endocrine, classify them, or define the endocrine glands, classify them, and explain about the thyroid gland. This type of the question may come in your LAQs. SAQs, how they may going to ask you? They may going to ask you the small questions, small gland. For example, salivary gland, they may going to ask you. For example, they may going to ask you the thymus. They may going to ask you the placenta. Sometimes they may going to ask you the salivary gland in the SAQs. Or sometimes they may going to ask you the histology of the glands. For example, histology of the pancreas is there, histology of the liver is there, histology of the we can say the pituitary gland is there. Like that, there will be the chances of you're facing the chances of asking the question on the histology of the glands. Or sometimes they may going to ask you the MCQs. How they may going to ask you yes again this the cells which are located Langerhans cells in the pancreas, they are called as the now four options they may give. One is the Langerhans. Like that, they may going to ask you, or particularly insulin secreted by the cell alpha, beta, and delta cells. Like that, they may going to ask you. Or largest part of the pituitary is called the adenohypophysis, neurohypophysis, or both the above and none of the above. Like that, they may going to ask you means. Or in the dimensions, also they may going to ask you the questions in the what you can say the MCQs. In the applied aspect, also they may going to ask you the MCQs. So this complete endocrine system is meant for the SAQs, LAQs, and also for the MCQs. So like that, you have to study the this is about study the endocrine glands. I list them. But remember their anatomy, location, their secretions in the part of the and the functions carried out by the respective hormones. So this brief house take what take a message for the exam appearing students. And by this, I will conclude my today's session. And once again, I would like to thanks for the organizers for giving me an opportunity to present my presentation for the first phase students. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
It is
you.
not joy that makes us grateful. It is gratitude that makes us joyful. As this probe indicates, thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation to take up the session. It was really interesting to hear you, sir. I'm sure many will be beneficial from today's session. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge among us. Now, since we have come to the end of the session, it's time to wind up the session. Thank you, sir, and all viewers of our channel.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you, one and all.